Hello. Welcome. How does God talk? And to whom? When I asked this question, here's the answer I received. I talk to everyone, all the time. The question is not to whom do I talk, but who listens. Intrigued, I asked God to expand on this subject. Here's what God said. First, let's exchange the word talk with the word communicate. It's a much better word, a much fuller, more accurate one. When we try to speak to each other, me to you, you to me, we are immediately constricted by the unbelievable limitation of words. For this reason, I do not communicate by words alone. In fact, rarely do I do so. My most common form of communication is through feeling. Feeling is the language of the soul. If you want to know what's true for you about something, look to how you're feeling about it. Feelings are sometimes difficult to discover, and often even more difficult to acknowledge, yet hidden in your deepest feelings is your highest truth. The trick is to get to those feelings. I will show you how, again, if you wish. I told God that I did wish, but that right now I wished even more for a complete and full answer to my first question. Here's what God said. I also communicate with thought. Thought and feelings are not the same, although they can occur at the same time. In communicating with thought, I often use images and pictures. For this reason, thoughts are more effective than mere words as tools of communication. In addition to feelings and thoughts, I also use the vehicle of experience as a grand communicator. And finally, when feelings and thoughts and experience all fail, I use words. Words are really the least effective communicator. Words are really the least effective communicator. They are most open to misinterpretation, most often misunderstood. And why is that? It is because of what words are. Words are merely utterances, noises that stand for feelings, thoughts, and experiences. They are symbols, signs, insignias. They are not truth. They are not the real thing. Words may help you understand something. Experience allows you to know. Yet there are some things you cannot experience, so I have given you other tools of knowing, and these are called feelings, and so too thoughts. About 100 words later, my most powerful messenger is experience. And often this you ignore, especially this you ignore. This is a book called Conversations with God, an uncommon dialogue. Neil Donald Walsh. I don't even remember who the author is. God bless you, brother. Thank you, Neil, for your journey and sharing it with the world. I think regardless of your feelings and your experience, this is a book, and their words in here, the experiences, feelings, and thoughts of those words, regardless of yours, it's a really helpful book. All the books I brought here to share and to just touch on a little bit, because they've all been incredibly powerful tools in aiding my life in many, many, many ways. I chose to read that portion of Conversations with God to touch on what I've heard also called as spiritual listening. So every physical sense you have has its physical operation, but it also has a heightened spiritual ability behind it. Every one of your five senses. Spiritual listening is exactly what he just described. When you hear a word, it's very often in American culture that it's very surface level. We take it very literally, and then we move on to the next one. When, as we just learned in that book, the depth of thought, feeling, and experience that can be behind one single word is literally infinite. So this moment right now that we have together, if you're watching this, is one that I truly have felt called in my heart and soul by God, or forces greater than me, whatever you want to name them. Truly pure intentioned, sentient love, the source of creation. It's what it feels like. It's what the experience feels like to me. I've felt this call so strongly for over 10 years to do this right here, me and you, to simply speak to every experience I've had and to try to capture with words for you the feelings and the thoughts of my experience and what I have really come to know through that. Not what I've come to think, not what I've come to believe, not what I've come to contemplate or speculate or conspire. What I know. That is why I'm filming myself in this igloo, my home. So many trails of thought. So before I share anything about my experience, I got a little 2.5 page outline here. I want to challenge you, brother, sister. When you hear my words, feel them. I want you to hear my voice. I want you to feel my heart. I want you to feel my soul. I want you to actually let go of yourself and every projected experience you may have, and I want you to truly spiritually listen to my words. Do your best to not just get stuck on the surface of them, or to get stuck in narratives of your own, of comparing experiences, of any of the things that the mind does, that I'm not saying are necessarily wrong or bad. I'm saying that they typically hinder spiritual listening. And I ask this of you, I challenge this to you, because you are literally the only reason I'm doing this. I don't need to do this for myself. I don't. I have the awareness. I know exactly what I need to do. I know exactly what I want to do, and I know exactly who I am. And this world's crazy, and there's things that are not good in this world. And I don't like things that are not good. But I more so like sovereignty and freedom and actually being love. I digress. So please just listen with your heart. A lot of you watching this probably know me. You probably have memories of me or experiences with me, or you've heard of me, or you think you know me. Some of you might freaking hate me. I love you. And I'll never stop. So I have to share 2 experiences of mine, and they are two of the most life-changing experiences I had in this lifetime. And they also coincide with the reason it's taken me so long to be here with you and to share this, to dispel the fear. I woke up this morning and I shared this memory with my sister, and I hadn't shared it with anyone in a good long while, and I don't usually get emotional when I share what happened to me, but I choked up so much this morning. I just realized that it hadn't clicked that this is such an important piece that I should lead with. Anyway, well, thank you to my sister and to being alive and having a morning. Speaking of being alive, this is the first experience that I want to share with you. When I was 14 years old, I was in a state of depression that was so vast and felt so unending. It felt so unending. I felt hopeless and I felt alone. A lot of my circumstances in life were not in my control. Most things were not in my control, or so I believed. And it caused me months and months and months of isolation and of this depression to not want to live. I wanted to kill myself. And for months I wanted to kill myself. And then I started actually planning to kill myself, and I started to sneak into my mother's room when she wasn't around. And I started to collect some of her Narcos and her Xanax, and I don't even remember, but pills that I knew were strong pharmaceuticals, and I was collecting them. And I had the mundane thought that if I drank them with a bottle of wine on a Friday night, that my family could have the weekend to deal with my body and they could get back to their lives on Monday. So Thursday night, the day, 24 hours basically, before I had planned to end my own life at 14 years old, I just want to check that we're still filming. Yes, we are. Hope you guys can hear me all right in the little echo chamber. So Thursday night, before I planned to kill myself, it's so weird looking at a camera and speaking to a camera. I'm not used to this. I just want to interject right now that I feel such a lack of authentic expression, just speaking to the future and having this audience, even though you're a screen with electricity running through it. I feel such a presence, and it takes me out of the moment of myself. And so I just want to acknowledge that I can feel my voice and my expressions and the hesitancy. And I guess also I want to say that in this side note really quick before we get back to my first experience to share, is that I typically, when I get motivated to share, am in an emotional state of turmoil, and I have such repressed experience and repressed knowledge that I feel is really important to share with the world. That I burst, and then I just rah, and then I'm just rah, and then rah, and then it's just really. I think the collective audience that I would really like to speak to will receive me and my words better, my thoughts, feelings, and experiences better, expressing them from the state I'm in now, which is not well rested, very sleep deprived, very over caffeinated, and mostly just tired. My when I'm really sleep deprived, I have a slight screen between me and my emotions where I'm not as reactive and I don't think it's because it's intentional, but I'm slower to respond to things because I'm cognitively slower, literally. But I found in extreme sleep deprivation that I have like an emotional fortitude that's unshakable, oddly. Anyway, end of side note. Not end of side note. I had such a rigid plan. A lot of my fears, like, gosh, I need to have a sermon written with bulletins and accessible information and resources and all this like professionally presented information for you before I can just start saying or sharing anything. And I'm realizing like just in the last couple weeks that's never going to happen, and it's not supposed to, and that this is what's needed, is to be raw and real and authentic. We're going to get back to my suicide story, I promise you. The fear. So yeah. I'm going to pause there. I had 2 side notes I'm going to come back to. No, sorry, I'm getting them out of the way. 3 days ago, scrolling Facebook, a random friend's page had this video of a girl, immaculately beautiful. Oh my goodness, stunning. I was captivated. But then, so much even more so when I began to hear her words and really spiritually listen to her words. And she had a TikTok video where she was just stating some not so commonly known facts here in America of the state of the world, and the powers that be that have monopolized resources. And it was witty and charming and sweet and cute, but also extremely convicting and real. And it stirred my spirit so much to see someone so willing to express that